Welcome to Vegan Ultra. I'm your inspiration guide, Adam Gallus, on this epic quest for health, hope, and happiness, in which I lose 150 pounds in 12 months on a whole food vegan diet while walking 3,000 miles in a single year to prove to myself, my family, and anyone watching on YouTube that we can all become ultra versions of ourselves if we give it a chance and are powered by plants. Today is Food Friday, and last week we saw in the science-based magic of beans how Dan Buettner, Mr. Blue Zone, was correct in estimating that a cup of beans per day can make you live 4 years longer, at least statistically speaking. We saw, for example, that in a meta-analysis, each 1/4 of a cup of beans, and this was on over 1 million participants, resulted in approximately 1 extra year of life, a 6% reduction in all-cause mortality, also less stroke risk, though not statistically significant cancer risk or heart disease risk. Well, today I'm showing you the exception, because let's take a look here. We have soy, the science-based magic of soy, nature's most perfect food. So specifically, we have prospective meta-analysis for all-cause mortality, cancer risk, heart disease risk, or the stuff that beans generally do not do that well on. 23 prospective studies of 331,000 people, meaning they're looking at 331,000 people, how much soy they were eating, and what happened going forward. Overall, a 12% reduction in all-cause mortality. Statistically speaking, this is about 2 extra years of life just from soy, and better heart disease risk and cancer risk. And take a look at the reduction, an 8% reduction in mortality from cancer for just 10 milligrams per day of isoflavones from soy. That is the active ingredient. Well, how much isoflavones are there in a serving of soy? Well, there's about 25 milligrams in 1 cup of soy milk, and various other kinds of soy, for example, that we'll talk about today, have higher concentrations. But now let me show you that some people, of course, will wonder, should guys eat soy? After all, those isoflavones include phytoestrogens. Well, here's a meta-analysis looking at 32 different studies showing no effects on soy intake and testosterone or free testosterone for men. And then, of course, there was a follow-up study in men looking at reproductive health, again, finding no significant effects. And just to be safe, they did another one looking at 38 more, 1,700 or 750 men looking at testosterone, free testosterone, some other reproductive hormones as well, and no statistical changes. So how much is a safe amount? A quick Google search basically finds that up to 900 milligrams per day is safe. Now, this is for postmenopausal women, but from Linus Pauling Institute, this is the University of Oregon, studies, 6-month studies on men and women up to 100 milligrams per day. This is 4 cups of soy. This is basically 2 to 4 servings, depending on how much what kind of soy you're looking at. And remember, 10 milligrams can reduce your risk of dying of cancer by 8%. Well, you're talking about up to 10 times per day studied safe dose. The US government recommends between 50 and 100. So let me show you my 2 favorite ways of getting soy intake. Now, notice here that the average American is basically not consuming any soy at all, and that is a shame. My 2 favorite ways. One is this unsweetened organic soy milk. Basically, this is 98% soy water, and then they add in some vitamins. Now, you might be wondering, is this in fact whole food, or is it just processed junk? Well, remember, last week we looked at the rules of thumb from people like Dr. Campbell, Dr. Greger, Dr. Bernard, and Cornell University on how you can tell if something is processed or unprocessed. So let's take a look here. 7 grams of fiber versus 30 grams. This is for the entire half gallon. 30 divided by 7, so this is around 4 5 or less, according to Dr. Greger, unprocessed. More than 10% calories from protein. Oh, absolutely. This is about 33. And if we take a look at the potassium to sodium ratio, it is over 4, closer to 5. So my AI life coach confirming that this kind of soy milk is basically a whole food that applicable to my diet. So let's take a look at specifically some of the nutrition here. Because remember, up to 4 cups per day to get those 100 milligrams of isoflavones. That's about just under 400 calories. Well, take a look at this. We're seeing 21 grams of fat. You might think that's worrying, but we'll get to that in a moment. But take a look at packed with protein and look at, complete protein. Remember, Christopher Gardner, nutrition professor at Stanford, showing how every plant has every essential amino acid, but packed to the gills in soy. And you can see also highly nutritious minerals, vitamins, absolutely amazing. So what about that fat? Well, notice that out of 21 grams of fat, over 50% is polyunsaturated and another 4 grams. So this is over 15 grams, 75% of the fat, monounsaturated and polyunsaturated. What do you need to know about that? Well, let's take a look here. Guess what? From this study here showing a presentation from Dr. Wilmette at Harvard University, the more monounsaturated fat you have, the lower your risk of dying, not just of heart attack, but of any reason, all-cause mortality. And polyunsaturated fat, this is what's especially highly concentrated in nuts. Well, remember in the science-based magic of nuts, this is why the more nuts you consume, the longer you live statistically. So let me show you one other way that I like to get my soy. This is Plant Basics. This is basically a defatted soy flour. And we can see here, ratio of carbs to fiber less than 2. This is 70% protein. And if we take a look at the overall nutrition here for the defatted soy flour, half a cup of this, about 44 grams, this gets you approximately 100 milligrams of those isoflavones, the safe guideline, from upper range of safety guideline from the US government. And we can see here, this still has, even though it's defatted, still some fat, but half of it is polyunsaturated. And we can see, once again, absolutely incredible protein completion and highly nutritious. So thank you so much for watching. And I hope you've enjoyed this Food Friday and the science-based magic of soy, nature's perfect food. 30 to 70% protein, low carbon footprint, low amount of water usage. It fixes nitrogen into the soy. It reduces blood pressure, blood cholesterol, cancer risk, diabetes risk, heart disease risk. It'll make you live longer. It's absolutely incredible. Remember that what this actually means, let me show you one final time here before we go, just so you can remember what this means. Is statistically 2 extra years of life, 12% reduction in all-cause mortality just from eating 2 to 3 servings of soy, and up to 4 servings per day has been deemed safe by the US government, backed up by numerous meta-analyses. So thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you subscribe to this channel, like this video to help other people find it on YouTube, and please give a Blue Zone Vegan diet a chance. Remember, it's helped me to lose about 85 pounds in 5 months and helped me to achieve the healthiest, happiest version of myself. And it can help almost anyone become the Captain America version of themselves if you give it a chance and are powered by plants.